Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Boricua BC2 show. I am your host, Bill Cancel. Happy Saturday to everybody. Happy weekend to everybody. I hope everybody's got some fantastic plans for this day, this weekend. I know here in the Long Island area, we'll be up to close to 80 degrees today, first time all year. We are all looking forward to that. Definitely a good day to spend some time outside and just enjoy the weather if you can by yourself. So some of you must be wondering this morning, what am I doing here? Because I normally don't do shows on Saturday. That's my day off. And I've been thinking about what other content I could bring to the show, aside from panels and guests and so on and so forth. And I came up with something that I thought would be helpful, and that's going to be the new Saturday segment. And this Saturday segments, moving ahead, are all going to be specifically based on positive things that have happened, wins that have happened during the week. So just a summary of all the wins. And I think this is very important because we are so caught up in the bad news every day that we get hit with that many times we overlook some of the victories that have actually happened during the week, or they just get lost in the ruckus and the chaos. But I think it's important that we focus on them because however many few they are, however many of the large amount they are wins. And we need to focus on that because that changes the mindset, right? If everybody's just thinking that we're losing, we're losing, that gets ugly, right? Because then you lose engagement, you lose people who care, and so on and so forth. But if people could sit there and say, oh shit, wait a minute, this is a good thing. Things are actually happening. You know, it motivates the resistance, it motivates the group, and I think it's very important that we do that. So every Saturday moving ahead now, I'll be out here around this time, just going over some of the highlights of the wins for the week. So this show is going to be called The Win Show. And I think it's important that we all watch and understand what's happening. So let's get started. Again, big win. Sue Crawford, Wisconsin Supreme Court. Massive. This is the whole Elon Musk buying the Wisconsin Supreme Court issue, so on and so forth. Again, democracy proved itself properly. It came in, and excuse the French, it kicked some ass. Huge win. That sets tone. That sets precedence. That sets the mindset of the Republicans that they're not exactly safe as they think that they are. Big victory. Again, another big victory happening today. It hasn't even happened yet, but it's scheduled to happen today. Is the number of protests that are happening across all 50 states this morning, right? I can't emphasize enough how important that is for people to be out there protesting and getting their voices heard. And the fact that this is now the second time that we're doing this in 50 states really has to be getting on the Republicans' nerves. Because what's interesting is that you don't see a 50 state protest for MAGA. You don't see a 50 state protest for Republicans. Why is that? Because they know they're wrong. They know that they're fighting a losing battle because they elected this maniac as president of the United States. That's why. So this is another big victory for us. And again, focus on that. Another big thing that we had is NATO support for Ukraine. This is massive. The rest of the world has gotten together, and I'm very happy myself to see this, but the rest of the world has got together and said, you know what? We don't need Trump. We don't need the United States when it comes to Ukraine. We don't need Russia. We don't want Russia on this. You know what? If you want to be a part of the conversation, then you have to come with us and what we want to do. If you don't want to be part of the conversation, get away, you know? And that's a good thing. But the fact that they're still supporting Ukraine with the power that they're doing it with and with the voices that they're doing with is an absolute massive victory. So keep that in mind. Another big one, North Carolina, another Supreme Court justice issue, ruled against them. There's now a Democrat Supreme Court justice in North Carolina. This is very big. Again, going back to the first point about the Wisconsin Supreme Court justice, this is sending a very loud and clear message to Republicans that they are vulnerable. They are not invincible anymore, right? People need to understand that, okay? So another big victory there. The public condemnation that's happening all over the internet is quite critical as well too. The public is coming out. Um, Independent press is coming out. The voices are being heard. It's not just me saying that. all you have to do is just be on Blue Sky or any other multimedia platform to see that every day they're getting this administration is getting pounced upon. They're just the voices are screaming. I don't know. I think when it comes to public condemnation, where I'm a little confused at this point is where is MAGA on this? Has MAGA gotten infected by it, or are they still holding to their guard, saying he's the man for the job and so on and so forth? I don't know. There was something I skeeted about this morning that really concerns me, and that is, MAGA just keeps moving the goalposts, you know. And now that they know that their guy is an idiot and is destroying the country, they could rapidly now take a new concept and just say, okay, we know he's a schmuck. We know we shouldn't have voted for him, but he's in office. And as long as he's hurting other people more than me, I'm okay with it. How do you battle that? How do you battle a person that just wants to see suffering on other people except themselves? Well, you know how you battle that? You make the same administration that's causing them to feel that way hurt them. And that's what Trump is doing. Trump is hurting MAGA. You saw some of the things I saw this week also that some of the FEMA dollars were rejected for those who had the tornado damages and stuff like that this week. I saw that North Carolina FEMA dollars were cut for renewing the FEMA dollars because of the hurricane and storms that they had. That sends a frightening message to his base. So it's going to be interesting to see how that does. But again, that is a big win for us. Let me see what else I wrote in my notes here. So also I heard a lot of talk about the possible Insurrection Act going on tomorrow, and that Trump will declare martial law and so on and so forth. My personal opinion on that is that that's not going to happen at all. The only thing that's going to happen tomorrow is that the report is due. Now, how he wants to handle that, that's up to him. But I read it as to say that if they come back and they say we have a massive problem at the border, that they'll use the military to strengthen up the border only. That they're not going to put tanks on the streets and declare martial law. I think in the remote possibility chance that he does declare martial law across the country, which again I don't see happening, Republicans are going to lose their shit, and MAGA is going to lose their shit, because you can't tell MAGA what to do and what not to do, as we all know. So MAGA is not going to want to stay home between 9 and 5. They're not going to want to obey any of this, So I'm not too concerned about that. And again, if that prediction holds true, that's another massive victory for us and the country. So again, folks, the purpose of today's show is really just to emphasize and remind people that while all this craziness is happening, there are still wins happening. Okay. And like I said in the beginning of the broadcast, I'm going to use my Saturday mornings now solely and focus on the wins that have happened for the week. So I hope you enjoyed that this morning. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you tomorrow with the news of the week. Take care, everybody. Bye.